Well, thank you very much for the time. You know, I didn't realize that I was actually going to be contributing to reducing the carbon footprint of the conference when I tried to go there. But evidently, as Nitesh explained, I actually went to the airport, and it took the two greatest bureaucracies in the world, the United States and India, to conspire to keep me away from IGCW. So as much as I am thrilled to be with you live, I'm terribly disappointed to not be with you there in person. It also is incredibly difficult, instead of talking face to face, to talking to all of you in the form of a little silver box in front of me. So I hope you'll understand. But I wanted to most of all say thank you for the invitation. And it's just a tremendous honor to be speaking with you today, because I, first of all, think of this as just an amazing event. An amazing event where we're bringing together tremendous leadership. When I hear the very distinguished Professor Sharma, and I see that you're having so many people across India and from around the world, you know, titans like Professor Clark and Professor Schultz, it is really humbling to share my perspectives on green chemistry, the state of green chemistry, and the future of green chemistry, because it is an honor to be able to just share perspectives, because quite frankly, if you wanted to hear me speak about my own research, you could read my research paper. So I'm going to try to speak more broadly about where I think we are, and as a community, as a green chemistry community, and where we perhaps need to go. Because more than anything, green chemistry, I believe, is about leadership. And it's the leadership in that room, and this conference, that is, I think, the most impressive part of this event. I can't imagine that my words will add to the interactions that are going to be happening in every conference, every networking session, every training session, but I will certainly try. Now, when I think about leadership, and the leadership that all of you are showing simply by being present at this event, I do think of Isaac Newton. And the great saying that Isaac Newton gave us, that we all know, was, "I can see the horizon because I stand on the shoulders of giants." Now, that saying is believed to be Isaac Newton praising the great minds that came before him. But there's another message that's implicit in that statement. And that is that the giant could not see the horizon. So when we think about the great accomplishments of chemistry, the great accomplishments of our field, the great accomplishments of the industry, over the past 200 years, even this past century, we need to recognize that the giant cannot see the horizon. So where will that leadership come from? Where will we see that horizon of sustainable development? And I'm going to suggest it's the people in this room. It's the people at this event. It's people like Nitesh Mehta and the Green Chemistry Foundation that are putting together and convening people from around the world. Now, like many of you, I'm a chemist. I'm in a university chemistry department. I own a chemical business. I've been involved with making chemical policy and the government for most of my life. I'm a chemist. I love chemicals. I love chemistry. When I think about green chemistry, I never as a way of attacking chemistry. I think of it as the logical next step of green chemistry. And I look at all of the accomplishments of how chemistry has revolutionized our lives. How it's revolutionized agriculture, how it's revolutionized electronics and energy, and certainly medicines. And then I look at all of the unanticipated consequences. Yes, the pollution. Yes, the contamination. Yes, the bioaccumulating substances that are building up in our bodies. Yes, the toxic effects that are the unanticipated consequences of much of our progress. And I say that we can do better. As a community, we can do better. And green chemistry is about that, doing better. Green chemistry is about setting our standards higher. It is not simply enough, I think we would all agree, to just make a process a little bit more efficient, generate a little bit less waste. Maybe it make it less energy consuming. What we're talking about when we look at green chemistry, as all of us appreciate, is how we think across the life cycle, from the origins of our feedstocks, through the manufacturing processes, all the way till after its useful life is over, and how we design these products and processes so that they're sustainable, so that they're not going to be degrading, depleting, toxic. This is how we raise the bar and set our standards higher. Because when we talk about design, we can't do design by accident. We can't do design by accident. It's a thoughtful statement of human intention, and it's wonderful when we look at the great success stories and the anecdotes that we heard over the decades of how we've made processes more efficient and cleaner by making less waste. But we can't set that as our standard. Continuous improvement means that clean cannot be clean and deadly. It can't generate less waste but use more toxic reagents or more depleting reagents across this life cycle. We have to engage in systems thinking. Now, one of the great grand successes of green chemistry, the reason that it's being adopted across India, North America, Europe, Asia, is because it is not focused on our limitations. So much of environmental protection over the past 50 years worldwide has been focused on what we need to stop doing, what we need to reduce, what we need to eliminate. Green chemistry, of course, is about what we can create, what we can invent, what we can design. And because of that, instead of environmental protection being a cost drain, instead it's an economic driver. It's making profitability and environmental and health protection work together toward the same goals. It's that alignment that is what is making green chemistry different from some of the other efforts to simply make things a little bit more efficient and a little bit more economically profitable. Because I am a very big believer that we need, as a community, to harness market forces to achieve sustainable development. But there's an important saying that I think is appropriate here, and that is that markets and market forces are a miraculous tool terrible master and an even worse religion. We need to recognize that sustainable development is an essential goal, the critical challenge of our generation. And when I have often heard in my discussions with governmental leaders in different countries around the world, well, we believe in sustainable development, but we believe that development comes first and sustainability comes second. I try to remind them as politely as I can that there really is either sustainable development or tragic development. And we've seen what tragic development looks like. But there's no such thing as neutral development. So we have a clear choice. We have a clear path. And what we've seen over the past 20 years of green chemistry has been nothing short of astounding. Astounding because green chemistry has been able to touch virtually every industry sector that we can imagine. Certainly the chemical industry, bulk chemicals, specialty chemicals, formulations, but also agriculture, medicine, energy, plastics, dyes, and far more. And that's, of course, because it's working at the most fundamental level. It has engaged in scientific breakthroughs, scientific developments that have been at the foundation of this adoption worldwide. So it's not about tweaking unsustainable processes a little bit less bad. It's about how we think in terms of innovation, think differently in terms of our design protocol. Now, what do I believe are some of the great scientific challenges for the future of green chemistry? I think there are many, and I know that many of you also have ideas about what these might be. One of them would be, how do we harness the design brilliance of nature in ways that we can put in place in our chemistry toolbox, in the green chemistry toolbox? For instance, when we think about biomimetic processes, we recognize that over the past 200 years, we as chemists have sought to master the covalent bond. We take great pride that we can make any molecule that one draw. We also know that that's generally not how nature gets performed. We know that it's the weak force interactions that often dictate the chemical transformations in nature and the functionality and performance. So while we have insight on using our knowledge of weak force interactions to explain synthetic pathway or explain performance, I don't think any of us would say that we have mastered weak force interactions in order to impart performance or impart synthetic pathways as a design. So I think that's one of the great grand challenges. A second great grand challenge I would suggest might be on the area of molecular design for reduced toxicity. As I've said, the past 200 years have all been about designing chemicals to get functionality that has revolutionized our lives. But have we been as adept, as expert, at designing molecules so that we can get that functionality without the toxicity, without the toxins, without the bioaccumulation? Well, it's just the answer is no. Also, that's not answer. Why? Because in 2013, we are looking at a time where the advances in computational chemistry and the advances in computational toxicology are converging so that we can understand the fundamental nature, the combinations of physical chemical properties that enable hazard, that enable toxic effect. And because of that, we are seeing great strides in groups of the world on how you can greatly diminish the probability of a substance being toxic during the design process. A third area that I think is critically important is the integrated biorefinery. The integrated biorefinery is looking at how we empower the bio-based economy. Because so often we see people moving to using biofuels without a holistic perspective. And so make biofuels and bioenergy without paying attention to the biomaterial side of things. We recognize that that's most likely going to be a flawed business strategy in the long run. After all, oil and petroleum didn't conquer the world by saying we have this black liquid that we want to turn into gasoline. Nope. They got value from every distillation plant. And it's exactly that same type of approach that's going to be absolutely essential if the bio-based economy is going to be a reality. Now, we also want to recognize reductionism itself. A reductionist approach to understanding the world as it is has given us tremendous understanding. But it is also the consequences of environment and health. So how do we now think in terms of integrative systems thinking along with our reductionist insights? Because as we step back about why we do what we do, it's of course not simply to understand the world as it is, which reductionism helps us with, but it's also to design tomorrow so that it's better than today. It's to create new things, new things into the world that the world has never seen before. And so it's that integrative systems thinking that's going to allow us to get the performance, the function, innovations without the unintended consequences. So while we've seen great advances in cleaner processes over the years, it's going to take kind of systems thinking across the life cycle to ensure that what we make, performance that we give, non-toxic, non-depleting, non-degrading. Now, I could go on about more scientific challenges. I could talk to you about business imperatives. I could also talk about government policy or academic curriculum. But I'm not going to, because I prefer to talk about you and why we do what we do. We're doing it to make life better. Our own life better, our family better, and to make tomorrow a better place than another one did. Now, what we're taking on is a very powerful status quo. And I have to tell you that I believe status quo, where the materials that we're using are too often toxic and depleting and polluting and contaminating, is one that needs to be changed. Taking on the status quo is a very scary endeavor. You have pressures that go well beyond just the economic pressures that you face every day. But I think it's very important. And the reason that I salute all of you is because you are the champions that are going to make this change happen. Make us move to a more sustainable world. When we're taking on these great challenges, it's easy to be scared. today something happened, and it was the passing of one of the great men of our time. Nelson Mandela died today. Nelson Mandela, I hope we would all agree, was one of the great men of our world. Nelson Mandela passed along some wisdom to all of us over the years. And one of the things that he said about taking on these big challenges and about fear is that courage is not absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not the one who does not feel afraid, but the one who conquers it. That is tremendously important. As you take on challenges, all of you are taking on, trying to change the direction of the chemical industry. But Nelson Mandela charged us with something even more important. And I quote, Nelson Mandela said, "When the history of our time is written, will it say that our generation turned our backs at a time of global crisis, or will it be recorded that we did the right thing?" I am usually the most optimistic person in any room where I am, and so I am profoundly optimistic that we will all, as a community, as a green chemistry community, do the right thing. And I am even more optimistic that I've had the chance to see all of you at this event, inspiring to do the right thing. It has been a privilege and an honor to speak to you. I will always be part of this community dedicated to doing the right thing. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you from far, far away. Thank you.
You know, patiently waiting for almost 1.5 hours and listening to the entire inauguration session here. And we know it's pretty late there, probably around 12:30 or 1. And really appreciate your commitment and want to let you know that you've surely filled, you know, people who are sitting here with a lot of optimism about that the future world is going to be much more greener, cleaner, and we're going to have processes which are not even, you know, not only greener but also economically sustainable. So thank you once again from everyone who's here. We would have, you know, the memento being sent to you, where 20 trees, 10 for this presentation and 10 for the video that we'll be playing tomorrow in the Pollution Control Board. These 20 trees that have been planted in your honor, we will be sending that small token of appreciation to you very soon. Thank you once again from everyone here. Thank you.
This event, congratulations to everyone attending. Thank you very much.
Thank you.